Respected Principal, faculty members and my dear friends, a very happy Republic Day to everyone. India is often referred to as a vibrant and vigorous democracy. This might well be justified if we compare all those other countries that got independence around the same time as India. There is, however, reason to be concerned about the health of our democracy and its future. Just because we have elections regularly does not necessarily mean that we have an effective democracy. One view is that the kind of elections that we have are the very antithesis of our democracy. A letter written to the editor of one of the newspapers soon after the elections justifies this. Thank God, the vulgar cacophony, throwing of abuses and trading of charges by political parties with each other is over. The letter goes on to say that all political parties have made narrow-minded, extremely bigoted statements against each other, as if they were in the race to prove that who is the most conservative and backward and who would be the first to destroy this nation by such ideologies, as Taliban has done for Afghanistan. No wonder people showed fatigue and displayed lack of enthusiasm in the type of democratic exercise now repeatedly held to elect the begging candidates, so that on being elected, they can sit in power and loot us and amass wealth and power for their dynasties. Their slogan seems to be, cast your vote in favor of one whom you want should amass wealth. What democratic values these bunch of self-appointed leaders will propagate with such narrow-minded approaches? And the letter ends with a thought-provoking line. Our democracy ends the day we cast our vote. Let's talk about the election process. If democracy has anything to do with freedom, then the electoral system might well be the very heart of our democracy. So what all does the electoral system include? It determines who can or should be allowed to vote, when should electoral rolls be prepared, revised and how. The formation, functioning including funding etc. of political parties is also an integral part of the electoral system. Included also is the basic question, who can contest an election? Then there's a whole range of post-election activities during which the outcome of the electoral process are managed, such as post-election disputes, election petitions, formation of the government, and subsequent functioning of the government, including issues such as defections. This illustrative list indicates the critical role of the electoral system in ensuring an effectively functioning democracy. But what matters the most is the current situation. The widespread and increasing disenchantment with politics and politicians is much too widely known to require any substantiation. The way our legislatures, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha and state assemblies function does not make us proud. One of the major causes for the unruly and unproductive functioning of the legislatures is the quality of people who find their way into the legislatures. For example, it was reported in the media that more than half of the MLAs elected to the current state assembly of UP had significant criminal records. In fact, one of the newspapers went to the extent of saying that if all the MLAs with criminal backgrounds decided to get together, they could comfortably form a government of their own. There is no option but for concerned citizens and civil society groups to create conditions where politicians will have no choice but to make changes. Examples of a few such initiatives do exist, such as the work of the Mazdoor Kisan Sangharsh Sangathan led by Aruna Roy, resulting in the passage of the Right to Information Act in Rajasthan. It is evident from the above that changing the electoral system is not going to be easy, but then it must be done if democracy has to be preserved and strengthened. Concerned citizens and civil society groups will have to work really hard and in a sustained manner to achieve anything worthwhile. Being committed to freedom with responsibility, all liberals need to contribute to this. The crisis of the Indian nation is not that in its 62nd year as a republic, it has not been able to produce a stable government. The crisis is also not that the members of the minority religious groups and caste groups are being violently targeted, or that the prices of essential commodities are rising and people are increasingly getting exposed to the callousness of the market. Instead, the crisis lies in the nature of politics and the manner in which these problems are being handled. It is the kind of politics which is being unleashed that is producing crisis for the people of India. Students like us will have to shape tomorrow's India. Therefore, it only makes sense that we make the changes we want to see. Let us not be corrupt ourselves and also make sure that we vote for the right people. As I mentioned, electoral activities are the very heart of our democracy, and we as young citizens must not let them devastate our country by electing selfish people to power. Let's invent a better future. Jai Hind.